I think the first thing to say about the Hamilton-Jefferson feud is that it was real. And it's real because each man had a very different vision for what they thought the United States ought to become. I mean, they knew that they both believed there was a great future ahead of the United States. So one thing this wasn't is two men simply trying to get to the right place, and we agree to disagree, and we'll hold hands, we'll sing Kumbaya, and we both really want the same thing. They don't want the same thing. So Jefferson inherited over, I want to say, over 200 slaves when he was a young man, grew up as the richest man in Virginia, uh, had patrons in the House of Burgesses over in Williamsburg, went to college, was a very successful planter. And by successful planter, that means successful slave owning planter, yes, but also heavily in debt, as most of these planters were. But so Jefferson, growing up in idyllic Virginia, imagined the Republic as being something like the lives that the majority of Virginians lived. And the vast majority of Virginians then and on up to the Civil War were yeoman farmers. And Jefferson, what he admired about these yeoman farmers, as he called them in in the only book he ever wrote, Notes on the State of Virginia, the yeoman farmers were self-sufficient, self-employed, property-owning farmers. So because they owned their own farm, they owned their own means of production, to use that terminology, um, they were in charge of their destiny. I mean, it's between them and nature, of course. Because they weren't employed by anybody, they didn't have an employer telling them what to do, telling them how to vote. Because they weren't interested in commercial farming, Jefferson thought, because they weren't interested in commercial farming, they're also not in debt to a bank. So there's nothing really to get in the way of their independence. So if you're going to try to, if you need in a republic a virtuous population, and you do, a self-governing republic needs a virtuous population. If you can't govern yourself on the inside, you can't govern others. So you want to maximize the virtuous population. And the way you do that, Jefferson said, is you want an agrarian republic then of yeoman farmers, not of slave owners, not of more plantations, but of yeoman farmers. So in this sense, we're going back to some historians of the 1940s and 50s and talking about what would America look like, maybe Virginia writ large. That would be a good look for America. So what that wouldn't be then is a commercial society. It wouldn't be an industrialized society. It wouldn't even be a society that engages in a lot of trade with Europe.